In a world that's just buzzing with endless opportunities, it feels like the way to get ahead is to do more, right? Learn more, be more. But what if the real secret to making progress isn't about adding more to your plate, but focusing on less? Let's get into why narrowing your focus might just be the most powerful move you can make. I want you to picture a co-working space, maybe somewhere like Dubai, just electric with new ideas. You can feel it, right? People are talking about digital marketing, starting a business, launching something in AI. The ambition is absolutely real. But that scene also captures a really important truth. The ambition is real, the direction often is not. The energy is there, but the actual path forward, it's blurry. So let's get real for a second. Does this sound at all familiar? Are you the one trying to master every new skill that pops up? Trying to make your product appeal to every single person on the planet? Just be honest with yourself, because this is a trap that trips up even the smartest, most ambitious people out there. And that leads us right into our first big idea, what I like to call the trap of everything. This is the point where all that amazing ambition can actually start working against you. So here's the crazy paradox. When you try to be everything to everyone, your energy just gets scattered. Your message becomes so generic that nobody really hears it. Your progress slows to a crawl, and in a world that's already so noisy, you basically become invisible. It's this counterintuitive secret that the fastest moving people and businesses totally get. And check this out, this really makes it crystal clear. Saying I want to learn digital marketing is like saying you want to learn, I don't know, sports. It's way too big. But saying I want to master Google Ads specifically for e-commerce businesses, now that is a target. It gives you a clear path and a very specific problem to solve. And look, this isn't just a vibe or a feeling. It has real-world consequences. Surfer SEO points out that when you're too generic, people just don't know what you're an expert in. They can't recommend you to anyone. And maybe even more importantly, search engines like Google get confused about what you actually do, which makes it almost impossible to stand out online. Okay, so if being broad is the trap, then the way out is to find a niche. But let's be super clear about this. Finding a niche isn't about thinking smaller. It's about thinking clearer. And HubSpot, well, they define a niche perfectly. It's a focused group whose specific needs are just being ignored by all the big mass market players. Think of it this way. Instead of shouting at the top of your lungs in a crowded stadium, you're having a real, meaningful conversation in a quiet room. You become the solution for an audience that feels totally overlooked. And a niche can be almost anything. You could focus on a specific industry like finance or healthcare. Or maybe you target a specific language or a city. You could become the absolute go-to expert on a single platform like TikTok, or even build a community around a shared mindset. The possibilities for getting specific are actually huge. All right, so that's the theory, but does this stuff actually work in the real world? Oh yeah. Let's look at a couple of killer examples of niches in action. Okay, check this out. This is just brilliant. Instead of trying to compete with every single tour company in a massive city like Dubai, this business decided to focus only on Portuguese-speaking tourists from Brazil. Every ad, every social media post, every email, it was all designed for them. And the result? They weren't just an option, they became the only logical choice for that group. Now that is the power of focus. And here's another one I love. An online store decided to serve only Lebanese expats. They weren't selling just random stuff. They were selling products with a deep emotional connection to home. Now think about that for a second. They weren't just selling products, they were serving a community. And that kind of connection, it builds a level of loyalty that you just can't buy. And this is where the digital advantage really kicks into high gear. SEO.com confirms it. Niche businesses often end up crushing their bigger competitors in search results. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. They face way less competition for their specific keywords, and they build authority on their topic so much faster. They become the expert. All right, so by now you're probably thinking, okay, I get it. A niche is powerful. But now for the big question, right? How in the world do you find yours? Let's walk through a really practical framework. First things first, a quick word of warning. Don't just chase whatever is trending. I mean, everyone is talking about AI right now, but AI isn't a niche. It's a massive, massive field. You have to get more specific. But AI for HR recruitment? Now, that is a niche. It targets a specific industry with a specific problem. See the difference? The sweet spot, the perfect place for your niche, is right here at the intersection of these three circles. First, you have to start with what you're genuinely passionate about.
What do you actually enjoy? Then you layer on your existing skills. What's your background? What do you already know? And finally, and this is crucial, you have to validate it with market demand. Is there a real group of people who actually need this? When those three things overlap, boom, you've found your niche.
Okay, let's bring this all home, because choosing a niche, it isn't just about starting smart. It's about building unstoppable momentum for the long haul.
This right here, this might be the single most important idea in this entire explainer. So many people are afraid that choosing a niche is going to lock them in forever, but that's just the wrong way to look at it. A niche is a strong foundation that you build on top of. It's not a cage that limits you.
I mean, think about it. Once you've become the trusted go-to expert for one specific group, it's so much easier to then expand into areas right next door. You've already built that trust and reputation. Starting broad and just hoping you'll find clarity later, that almost never works. Start narrow, build deep, and then you can go wide.
And the results? Well, they speak for themselves. As SEM Rush points out, a niche strategy brings the right people to your doorstep, people who are actively looking for exactly what you offer. And that means you get better engagement and way higher conversion rates because you're not wasting your time and money on an audience that was never a good fit to begin with.
So at the end of the day, it really all boils down to this. In a world that is drowning in noise, clarity is what cuts through the static. It's what gets you noticed. And once you have their attention, your sharp focus is what builds authority. And that authority is what earns you their trust. So I'll just leave you with this one question. We are all surrounded by endless options, and the temptation to chase every single one of them is real. But after everything we've talked about, in this world of constant noise, where will you choose to focus?